Firstly, thanks a lot, Kai. I know everyone's saying thank you, but really, Kai, when I first met you first mentioned this idea, it was just like it was just a little seed of an idea, but look what you've created, and look at how you brought everyone together based upon your own vision and everyone that resonated with that. So, well done, Kai. So I'm very grateful to Kai. I'm very grateful to all the people that's helping to put this on. I'm also very grateful for having this little thing here. I've never had this before, this little thing here. So my vision, my mission is called social hartistry. Okay, so what it is, it's an alternative community to the pickup artist community. So if there's anyone who doesn't know what that is, I'll come on to that later on in the talk. But the idea is I'm trying to subvert the entire context, the entire intention of pickup artist, i.e. picking something up, to one of giving, intentionally giving, okay? So we're going to come on to that in a minute. So a quick background, 7 years ago, I had quite a cool lifestyle. I was a club promoter, and I was running these parties, and I had a beautiful girlfriend, and this party, it started off with just 30 of my friends came down. The next party, 50 people. The next party, 150 people. Within 10 events, 2,000 people were turning up. It was voted the 7th biggest party in England. It was talked about on Radio 1. It was a big thing. It was about to go global. I was getting contracts all over the world. And then 2 people that were my DJs at the time thought, this is going quite well. They registered it as a limited company behind my back and then told me I was sacked by text message. Yeah. So at that time, I had identified myself so much with this brand that I'd created, this party, that when I lost it, it felt as though my identity had gone. I'd lost everything. And at that time, with my girlfriend, I was like, I don't know what I'd do without you, darling. And I'd actually forgotten what my purpose was, what my mission was. And we had the sort of relationship where she was like the Snow White type. She'd walk into a room and like little bluebirds would be chirping, And we'd be so in love that we'd actually have to almost sit on each other's laps in the restaurant. We were that annoying couple, And I lost my mission. I lost my identity. And what happened was I didn't know who I was anymore. And I put all my eggs into one basket with her. And she actually ended it with me. She kind of ended the relationship. And it actually created a trauma. I'm not going to lie. It created an absolute trauma in me. And I had to go back and live with my mum. And I was just in bed for 2 weeks. And I was going yellow. my friends were bringing me Nando's in bed. And a friend said to me, look, try and turn a negative into a positive. So I thought, okay. So I went to Waterstones. I went to the self-help section. How to get my ex back. I was like, okay, no, that's not going to work. And then in the bookshop, I found The Game. Okay, so this book, actually, I'd like to know, is there anyone who doesn't know The Game and the pickup arts community? Just so I have an idea. Yeah, okay, a few people. So I'm going to quickly summarize what it is. The Game is a book by a guy called Neil Strauss, and he basically infiltrated a community of pickup artists in America, and he went under the tutelage of all these different pickup artists, okay, and they were teaching him. And the main guy was a guy called Mystery. Now, Mystery was the guy who basically laid out the blueprint for the pickup community that is now in operation. And so the way he used to see seducing a woman was the woman's a target, we approach the target, and as we talk to her, we open her, and then we build comfort, and then we build attraction, and then we transition, and then we close. So you can see it's almost like a military operation, isn't it? What the hell? And so what happened was, as people wanted so desperately to become a seducer and have all these women, they thought, well, I'm going to have to approach them, aren't I? I'm going to have to open, I'm going to have to transition, I'm going to have to neg and build comfort, I'm going to have to do all that stuff. But no one questioned it. So what happened was that initial blueprints were like memes, M-E-M-E-S, okay? Like thought forms that got spread virally and consolidated and habituated into a consensus of opinion. And so they believed that that was a description of reality, but it was actually a perception, okay? And no one questioned it. And so everything that then emerged from that still came from that same place. So still today, the pickup community still operates from this perception. Notice I say perception and not reality, okay? And so you have all that language. So approach, open, wingmen, disarm, bit shields. This is still the language that's being used to describe the context of talking to women, and no one questions it. So, of course, when I got into it, I was really desperate to get into it because I wanted to, if I can't have the love of my life, then, I can have any girl, any time, any place. That's what I thought. So quickly I found my wingmen, and we were going out, and we'd be like this with our drink in the bar. Where's my target? Where's my target? I'm going to go and cold approach her. Oh, no, I'm getting AA, man. I'm getting approach anxiety. Well, just come on. Just blast through it, man. Just blast through it. And this is what we were doing on nights out. I was going, man, what's going on? No, we just have to plow through, man. Plow through. So we were setting each other challenges such as, I'd say, hey, you see that taxi over there with those girls getting into it? Hey, go and jump into that taxi with them. So I might go, okay. He'd run off. He'd jump into the taxi and just see them driving off into the horizon. And then he'd say to me, hey, you see that couple inside the restaurant holding hands over the candlelight dinner? Go and ask for the girl's number. I'm like, oh, Christ. Okay, come on, man. So we basically became like pick-up Robotrons, And so we were doing this for so long, and it'd get to the point where I'd go on the top deck of a bus and I'd open all the girls on the top deck of the bus. Or I'd go into a restaurant and I would sit down with every girl in the restaurant and I'd be palm reading them. And so believe it or not, palm reading. So from the outside, everyone looking in was going, oh my God, John, you're amazing. I can't believe this. Look how many girls you're talking to. You're incredible. You're a pickup artist. I'm like, I'm a pickup artist. Yo, I don't need my ex-girlfriend anymore. I don't need her. And so what was happening was I was approaching and opening hundreds of girls, but there was a splinter in my mind. I wasn't actually having sex with any of these girls. I was talking to hundreds of girls, and I wasn't connecting with any of these girls. And then, of course, the occasional layers, like, oh yeah, this all works, I just had sex. And then I thought to myself, hang on a minute. When I was the club promoter, I was just doing my thing. I was like walking around the club, and I was going, hey, how are you? You having a good night? Hey, the music's good. Hey, isn't the DJ good? But at no point when I was the club promoter, when I was busy doing my night, was, this is an approach, got to open her. Hey, is the music good? Da-da-da. I was just doing my thing. In fact, the girls were absorbed into what I was already doing. They were absorbed into my higher purpose. And of course, I'd sit down with girls whilst I was promoting my night, and I would kiss them. I would get their number, but it wasn't myopic. It wasn't just focused specifically on target, command and conquer, World of Warcraft, military operation. And so a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, I said to him, look, I just don't know what's going on. I used to be better before. I never used to have this problem. I used to have abundance of women, and we used to really, it used to be amazing. I never used to think about it. And he said to me, John, take everything that you've learned, put it in a box, put it to one side, and just let things play out. And I thought, I can't do that. I wouldn't be in control. And he goes, bingo, that's the one. You see, we can never have social freedom, sexual and social freedom, if we're trying to control a woman. It doesn't work that way. But when we're in fear, we default to control. We default to acquisition. Because that's how we believe that we need to survive in that situation. So I realized, I had a light bulb moment, the whole pickup community is actually founded on acquisition. It's founded on taking. And that's the inextricable, unavoidable, inescapable intention behind pickup. And so people say to me, John, I love it. I love the idea that you're kind of like highlighting this, and you're realizing it's about taking, and your new philosophy, which I'm going to talk about, is about giving, unconditionally giving. But they're like, but when can we go and approach some targets and try this? I'm like, oh, look, you don't understand. You don't understand. So the paradigm shift that I'm creating with social heartistry is actually getting to it at the roots, getting to it at the core intention, and changing it from acquisition to unconditionally giving, okay? And I'd like to get Charlie up. Charlie, I'm just going to demonstrate this, because this is the difference summarized into a metaphor. And John Morgan gave me this metaphor, so thanks, buddy, for this one. Okay, Charlie, right. You are going to try and take this off me, and I'm going to try and take it back. So let's just use the pick-up paraphernalia for now. You're going to try and pick this up, but I'm going to try and take it back, okay? Go. Okay, no trick question. Who lost if we're both trying to take? If we're both taking, who won? Right, okay, it's no trick question, by the way. You're like, but if he's saying about giving, is there like some like undercurrent of like context? No. Okay, same again. You are going to try and take this off me, but I'm going to try and take it back. Go. Okay, who lost? Who got rejected? Okay, third example. Try and take this off me. Go. There you go. Who got rejected? No one. Why? Because I was giving. I was giving. Thanks, Charlie. That's the quickest stage presence you've had. So, I mean, that's just like a 10-second metaphor for social heartistry. Because at the moment in pickup, when you go out there looking to take, and you're unsuccessful in taking, of course you're going to be rejected, aren't you? Of course you're going to get approach anxiety, because you're going to go out there worried if you're going to be able to take back or not. But if you go out there from your heart, just unconditionally giving, you being the gift, then no matter what happens, you haven't lost anything. It's like an infinite fountain of giving. That's what it is. But the moment that you go, I want something from this, that's when all the symptoms emerge. And that's what pickup is. It's an acquisition model, and you get all the symptoms, the negative symptoms emerge from it. So of course what you see is pickup teachers, they say, hey, you've got approach anxiety, let's destroy the approach anxiety. Let's go out on the street and go into McDonald's and ask for a pizza. Let's stand on here and let's do is this going to break? Let's do the Karate Kid pose, and just basically desensitize your way through the anxiety. But the problem is those pickup teachers are creating the acquisition model, creating the taking mindset, and then trying to negate the symptoms of that. It's like sort of building a wasp nest and then trying to solve the problem by bashing it with a stick. They're creating the wasp's nest, by getting guys to go into that acquisition model, okay? So you can dissolve that, you can absolutely melt that away by actually, instead of coming from a place of taking, coming from a place of unconditional giving. So this is what I do with my students. Instead of going on the street saying, where's my target, number close, work around the obstacles, it still gets laughed at, doesn't it? I get them to do stuff like, I live in Hungary at the moment, take a 5,000 foreign note. It's not quite as much as 5,000 euros, don't worry, it's quite a small denomination. And then go on the street, and I want you to try and give it to people. So they're going around with this note in their hand, and they're going up to people and say, hey, would you like this? And they say no. And I say, hey, do you want this? And they go, no. And for an hour they're doing this, and no one's accepting that money. And then they come back to me and I say, hey man, how was the rejection there with all those people? And they went, what do you mean? Well, I wasn't rejected. They were rejected. They wouldn't accept the value. I went, oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So there was no rejection. No, they're the ones rejected. I was giving. Oh, right, okay. This time, what I want you to do is take the money, put it behind your back. You are the value. Now go and talk to these people. And then they were going and talking to the girls that they found attractive, and they knew their own value now, and they were coming from that place of giving. And then when they came back to me after, I said, hey man, what was your opener? How did you approach? And they just looked at me like, what are you talking about? I was just talking to her. I was like, okay, now we're talking. See, that's the work that I'm doing. I'm creating a massive shift, is that we can't go deeper and deeper into pickup in order to arrive at sexual and social freedom. We can't go deeper and deeper into darkness to arrive at light. We can't go deeper and deeper into Newtonian physics to arrive at quantum relativity. We can't go deeper and deeper into atheism to arrive at monotheism or spiritual enlightenment. It doesn't work that way. You have to actually take a paradigm shift out of it. So I believe that the work that I'm doing is actually quite profound in that I'm actually creating a new community called social heartistry. And it's actually open to women as well, because these principles don't just apply to men, they apply to everyone. And so at the moment I'm kind of infiltrating this pickup artist community, bringing the guys on board, the students on board, and then I'm actually completely transforming them, coming from a place of giving. And that's not to say that they can't create sexual encounters with women, because creation is a form of giving. Having sex is a form of giving, but when you go in from a place of parasitic taking, that's the problem. So that's the first thing that I'm doing, and the clock's not working, so I don't know how long I've got left. How long? Yeah, so I have no idea how long. Just a couple more minutes. So, social heartistry. So that's the first mission that I'm doing. There's even a bigger picture to what I'm doing, and that is, I believe the world's in a bit of turmoil right now, and we're living in a very separative, fear-based reality, okay? And that's because you go into a restaurant, no one talks to anyone apart from the people they're on the same table with. You go into a coffee shop and you ask for your drink, and we don't even humanize it by asking them how their day is. We just live in this dog-eat-dog, competitive, separative world. And that is almost expressed outwardly, systemically from that, in terms of how we relate to people. So the other mission with social heartistry is I have agents around the world and in different cities, and at the same time, every month, we run a flash mob of giving, okay? So, and it's up to those agents in those cities to create their own community, and then they go out on the streets and they do this flash mob of giving. So the first one we did was, we did a nice bag challenge. So do you remember the ice bucket challenge? Yeah? So this was the nice bag challenge where you fill up a bag full of all the clothes that you don't need anymore, and then you film yourself giving it to a homeless person, and then you nominate some other people to do it. So that builds up their own community in that city, and then the next month, more people join that community, more cities get involved, and then the big mission to change the world from the grassroots level is, can you imagine if you have more and more cities popping off with bigger and bigger communities? The idea is to actually become the new community and actually subsume the old fear-based society and move it up into more of a heart-centered community. So that's like the main ultimate goal with this. But right now, I'm just focusing on infiltrating certain communities of certain groups, certain communities of people, whilst also doing the grassroots stuff of actually changing the way we interface with reality. And that's social heartistry. Thanks.